Music in the Cafe, a Lukanette alternate universe month-long fanfiction. I will be using the daily prompts found in the Lukanette September 2019 calendar. This is not mine. I will be putting the Tumblr page I found this on in the description box below. I do not claim any credit to it, only to the story. Thank you for watching, reading, or listening. Day 4, First Blush. He's a sweet guy. You'd be so happy with him, Alia said, trying to calm Marinette down. She started having these random flashes of absolute worry and fear, and Alia had come as fast as she could to Marinette's aid to help her breathe again. Marinette shook her head. Yes, I could be happy, but I could also be sad. What if it doesn't work out? What if he realizes I'm just a cowardly cafe owner who can't even work up the courage to start a design studio? What if he meets someone else? What if he likes the other girl and breaks up with me at my own coffee shop and laughs and leaves? What if he says he likes me and we start dating, and when I think it's real, he'll just laugh in my face and say, "This is just an acting exercise. I don't care about you. Ha 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 ha," and then run away to a tropical island with Lila and raise 3 kids with her named Hugo, Bella, and Lila Jr. Alia looked at her best friend without a word and with wide eyes. She was stunned. Marinette was, per se, overdramatic, but God, this was a lot, even for her. What the heck? She said in a deadpan voice. The fact that you have their entire, non-existent future planned out tells me that A, you're crazy, but I still love you, and B, you're just freaking yourself out. That's not going to happen. Like I said, Luca's a good guy, and you know that. You're just freaking out from leftover repercussions from— Don't say that! Don't say his name! Marinette cut in. Alia raised her hands in surrender. I won't, but it's time to let it and him go. And everything that came with him. Other than Plague. He's staying. Besides, he's the past. Luca is your future. Focus on your future. He likes you. See what happens. And even though I can't promise you what you want, I can promise you that seeing where Luca takes you will take you another step towards happily ever after. I promise you, it's the next step to getting the future that you've always dreamed of. Marinette sighed, controlling her breathing, which had been rapid and uneven only a few minutes prior. I know he's the next step. I know I need to just, let it go, but Alia, that was 7 years of my life. How can I just throw that away and forget about it? I can't throw our friendship away. Our friendship is 7 years. How am I supposed to ignore him and everything we've built together and with each other? Marinette asked, running her hands through her hair. Hey, look at me. Now don't go off on one of your Marinette future tangents. I'm not saying to forget. That's quite literally impossible. I'm saying to accept the past as the past and leave it there. He's not the same person as Luca. Luca's different and new. Don't project the past problems onto him. The past should be left alone. Alia explained. Marinette took in a deep breath and nodded. Okay, I'm calm, she said. Alia chuckled. Or as calm as you can be. Marinette pushed Alia's face while giggling herself. That's rude, she laughed. Alia stuck out her tongue in a playful manner, making Marinette scrunch her face up mockingly. By the way, you keep having these weird issues with, anything new, Alia said seriously after a few minutes of the girls goofing off. Marinette shrugged her shoulders. Yeah, I guess I've just always been a worrier. Alia looked at her suspiciously. Well, don't let it get too bad. I don't have the time to always come back to your house to calm you down like this. I have a job where I can't decide my hours. Marinette rolled her eyes and laughed. That's what I have Tiki for. Alia hit Marinette's arm and laughed. Don't get me wrong, I love the girl, but I am not getting replaced by a red-headed coffee pixie. Marinette laughed at Alia's protective best friend's perspective. Don't worry, you aren't, she reassured her friend. No one could beat Alia. She had stood by Marinette's side for years and years, and even though Tiki was so kind and sweet and lovable, she was no Alia. The girls hugged and Alia left, and Marinette sat back down on her couch and breathed. She was so ready to start again. Start with Luca and leave her past and ex-boyfriend all behind her. Yet, it seemed impossible. Her mind kept telling her, no, it's not gonna work. He's gonna leave you like you once were. All the vivid thoughts of something going wrong, something that she'd experienced all before. When she was a mere 20-year-old, fresh out of community college, she dreamt of opening a design studio. Moving back to Paris, she and Alia scoured everywhere and every little shop to find an open space. To their luck, they found one, which now was known as Ladybug's Coffee, but it could have been known as Ladybug's Studio. When she was starting out, her plan was to be a design studio, where she could sell her clothes and teach young kids and get them into fashion. However, when the time came to back it all up and make it all happen, Marinette freaked out and got too scared, changing it into a cafe. She had nightmares of people coming in and trashing her clothes, not allowing their kids to come in and take a class, or mocking her for trying to make it. Everything from dirty looks to throwing rotten tomatoes on her clothes as if they were on a stage. All the fear, all of the vivid visions had gotten to her, and now here she was, a cafe owner, happy but not content. Marinette yawned. It was 10:23 at night, and she really needed to get up early again to open tomorrow. She hardly got to sleep in, only on holidays and when someone offered to open, which was very rare. Everyone wanted to sleep, and no one wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. She needed to get her sleep in, unless she wanted to be moping around and tired, or too hyped on coffee and crash. Neither situation was ideal. Marinette crawled into bed, falling into a light sleep. Beep, beep, beep. Marinette groggily got up and turned off her alarm. When she was younger, she was constantly late getting to school and other things, so now that she was a grown woman who ran a business that she needed to be up early for, she got a very, very loud and annoying alarm clock that forced her to get up. It was a typical morning for Marinette, and just like anyone else, she did her morning routine. Wake up, close your eyes and wish to sleep again, brush your teeth, wash your face, sit on the edge of your bed, wishing that you didn't have to get up, get changed, prep yourself for the day, sit in your chair for 10 minutes being on your phone before realizing that you have to pack for the day, eat breakfast, and head out. Pretty normal. Marinette checked the clock. It was almost the official opening time, and that meant Luca was coming in pretty soon. That thought made Marinette feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It seemed like forever till Luca arrived, and Marinette's entire day, all 3 hours of it, was made so much better. Good morning, she said. The usual. Luca shook his head. I'm feeling adventurous. How about a cold brew? Luca said, coming right up. Marinette grabbed the pitcher from the refrigerator and grabbed a cup. Cold brews were so nice. All she had to do was pour it into a cup and get the transaction through, and they could enjoy it right away. No burned tongues at all. You know, I was thinking that you and one of my employees would make great friends, Marinette said, leaning on the counter. You think so? He asked. Marinette nodded. Well, I trust your opinion, so I'd like to meet them sometime, Luca said. Marinette clapped her hands in joy. Wonderful! Luca smiled and took another sip of his coffee. Ugh, how was she so adorable? Even when Marinette did the simplest of actions, it was so cute. Her smile, her voice, everything. God, how could he not fall for a girl like her? How come you think we'd get along? He asked. Well, he was an art major and does a lot of theater, so I was thinking your backgrounds would make you boys compatible, she explained. Luca nodded. Yeah, probably he seems like a really cool guy. Marinette smiled happily again. She grabbed a cloth and began to wipe down the countertops. If there was one thing Luca could admire about how she ran her shop, well, there were a lot of things, but one thing was how she kept it so clean. In the industry, it was probably very important. He took a deep breath, slightly nervous about how his next sentence would go. He had been planning it for months now, and Luca would finally say it. So, we've been friends for a while. He trailed off, waiting for Marinette to nod or give some kind of indication that she was following. So, I was thinking if I could get your number and we could go out sometime. There. Luca had finally asked out Marinette, and all he had to do was wait for her response. His brain raced, and it seemed like the world was moving in slow motion and that her response would take years. Yeah, of course, she said with a bright and joyful smile. Her cheeks flushing a pale baby pink, Luca let out a breath that he had been holding in worry and fear. She said yes. Oh my goodness, she said yes to him! To the hopefully date and to giving him her number. Marinette smiled at him, and it seemed as bright as the sun and as beautiful as the night sky and stars. Luca was so lucky. He was about to scream to the stars, but of course, that would be weird, so he didn't. After a few more minutes of chit-chatter, Luca had to get to work, and he waved goodbye and walked out backwards out the door as Marinette watched and waved back. As the door closed and the bell jingled, she sighed. One of those, lovesick teen rom-com, I just found my soulmate sigh. Good morning, Marinette, Tiki said. Morning, Marinette chirped. Tiki raised a brow. You seem quite happy. Want a spill? Tiki already had a good idea of what may have happened, but she wanted to hear it from Marinette and have it be official. Well, Luca asked me out on a date, Marinette said. Marinette admitted, a high smile appearing on her face again. And Tiki cooed. I said yes, Marinette cried. Ah, I knew you'd say that. See, you're excited. It's gonna be great. Tiki gave Marinette a huge and tight hug. What's going on? Plag said as he came into the cafe. Marinette said yes to Luca, Tiki said excitedly. Plag looked at Marinette with a blank expression. But of course, if you knew him, that was his way of showing the emotion of happiness. Finally, you're back in the game, he said, putting on an apron. Marinette and Tiki laughed at his funny way of showing excitement. Well, we're just going out. We're not just yet official, Marinette cleared up. Who cares? It's happening, Tiki said happily. Marinette smiled widely too. She was so excited. Even though she was slightly nervous and her hands had been shaking ever so slightly, she was excited. And all she had to do was call Alia, and Alia sure would flip out.